It's locked up. That's not good. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. Oh, everybody's having a great week. What do we have here? We have a commercial customer's very expensive Husqvarna 572 XP. These things go for about $1,200 plus tax, and it came in locked up. Now, there are lots of things that could have caused this, but this saw happens to be a frequent flyer here at the shop. It's been in many times for various issues. The last time it was in here, though, we put a new rewind pulley in it. So I'm going to check that first. Hopefully, it's a simple solution. Sometimes it is possible for you to let the rope retract in way too fast and it wrap around the pulley the wrong way and get lodged in there to where it will not pull. Might be the issue. Well, the pulley looks good. And it pulls just fine. That's not the issue. But this flywheel, it ain't budging. Let's go ahead and check this fuel. Looks good. So let's look in the cylinder and see what's going on. All right, let's break out the HD endoscope, look inside this cylinder, and see how bad she is. Now, fortunately, when it locked up, the piston was in the down position, so that's good. We'll be able to see a lot of the wall. Let's get in here. Oh. Something was scraping up in there. Can y'all see that? Wow, let's see if I can get a different view here. Look at the top of that piston. That's metal. Metal on metal right there. But the walls actually look really good. Yeah, there's some chunks of metal in there. How did they get in there, though? Oh no. The electrode's missing off the spark plug. I don't ever see that. Wow. That's crazy. This might be the original spark plug too. Now, what I did find though is although it is locked up, I can force the flywheel to go in the other direction. I don't know how long. Well, and then it's locked up again. There's a piece of metal sticking in there, guys. Think I can get it out? Now, looking down in from the top, I don't see anything actually prohibiting it from moving up and down, and it's getting locked up when it's in the down position. So I'm gonna have to dig underneath the piston. To do that, I gotta remove the cylinder. I wish it was pretty simple where I could just take the bolts out of the cylinder, remove it, look, but that's not the way it goes. It is connected to the exhaust and the intake. The intake bolts are behind the carburetor, so I gotta remove the air filter, carburetor, intake, and the exhaust. Once we remove all that stuff, then I can go for the cylinder. And let's hope that it's just a piece of metal locking it up and it didn't do too much damage. And first I'm going to go ahead and remove the bar and chain because it's just easier to work with that way and get her cleaned up. Well, now that we got the muffler off, we can see the side of the piston, and there is a lot of wear on it, but I don't feel any actual grooves. It's still potential. Why would they make every screw on this entire chainsaw T27 except the ones holding the carburetor on? They're T20, just to let you know. Oh Lord, that's a lot to mess with. Okay, so I am trying to get to a screw that you can barely see right there, and it's sort of tilted in the downward position, and there's one on the other side just like it. I'm hoping that I can get my tool in there and not have to remove all of this just to release the intake from the cylinder. Ooh, success. All right, that was one. I got one more on this side. You think I could finagle a tool in there and not have to remove all this? I'm gonna try. They do not make this easy. Get in the hole, get in the hole. I got it, woo! Okay, so that was pretty cool. I'm glad because I did not want to have to dismantle this whole, it's got the M-tronic kind of deal on it, the fuel injection thing, so I didn't want to have to mess with all them wires. But now I can take the 4 bolts out that are holding the cylinder to the engine. Also, I've got a buffer here, spring buffer, that I'm going to have to remove. The Husqvarnas, they've got a throttle cable design instead of a lever, which is pretty sweet, but this back base has a bracket that the throttle cable goes through, and this is not coming apart, so I don't know. Oh, it's got more screws on the bottom. Ah, that's why. So I got to get this throttle cable loose so I can release this a little bit. All right, now that I popped that throttle cable out of its holder, I should be able to just come up with everything. I mean, it's getting caught on the carburetor a little bit, but okay, there we go. Success. Ooh, something just fell out in my lap. Oh no, guys, this ain't good. First, let me show you the cylinder. Well, now you can see we had some metal hopping around in there for a while. Look at these metal chunks sitting there in the bottom and some scoring. But wait until you see this piston. Now, the top of the piston itself is toast. There's an actual burr all the way around this edge coming up where it must have ran for a while like this. But what's this? This is a piece of metal. Let's move it this way. Ah! Oh no, the piston skirt broke. That's crazy. There's a bunch of metal debris down inside. Oh no. And on top of that destruction, the crankshaft rod is all beat up. So guys, what are we looking at for repair? So we're looking at needing a cylinder. That thing is $263. The piston kit, $114. And I'd be scared to do this repair without getting a new crankshaft, and that thing is $320. And that doesn't even include the service that's got to come along with all those new parts. You're going to need a spark plug, fuel filter, and a carburetor kit, because I don't even change out a piston and cylinder without putting a new carburetor kit in, just to make sure that wasn't the issue. Labor, at least 2 hours. So you're looking at almost $1,000 to repair this chainsaw. Unfortunately, it's a fail. Now, this thing still ain't going to the junkyard. I'm going to hold on to it for him because he has another 572 XP and it still has some really good parts. He breaks handles all the time. He could use the rewind maybe. And I'm sure that carburetor's a pretty penny. So guys, thanks for watching another episode of Diagnosing, Fixing, and Fails. Hopefully this video saves you some time, money, and frustration in the future. If you find yourself coming back over and over again, think about hitting that subscribe button. And if you ain't tired of me yet, check this video out right here.